Hello everyone. Today I want to answer a very interesting question. That is the question if everything always needs to be round in Neurographica or not. And there is a short answer and a very, very long answer. And I'm going to try to do a medium one. So the short answer is no, not always do we have to round everything. But as a Neurographica beginner, please always round everything. So I want to start with saying that for beginners of this practice, it is really, really important to learn how to round and to feel the effect of rounding before deciding to not round everything. When you study the beginner course, the Neurographica Basics course, or the Basic User course is also called, where you become a user of the method, you will learn how to work with your inner tension, your inner limitations. The algorithm that we learn is called algorithm for removing limitations. We remove our inner limitations. We work with inner challenges. We work with inner conflicts. We work with everything that kind of feels complicated and challenging. And we work with negative belief systems. We work on all of these little topics that can bubble up from inside of us. And I really, really, really believe that it is a good idea to learn that first before you go into other topics with Neurographica. So in the beginning, you want to learn how to soothe yourself. And the rounding can really have that effect. There's been studies about just the rounding that found that the rounding has a soothing effect on the nervous system. It can calm us down. It can become a real meditative thing, like meditative practice. No, it can really bring us into this kind of different state where we soften whatever's happening, where we kind of calm the inner storm. So whenever we start with kind of topics that have a lot of emotional load, for example, that have tension, or even like physical, where when we have topics that have like kind of a physical effect, where like for example we feel the shoulders going up or something like this, when we feel inner tension, then working with the first algorithm and rounding everything can help us release the tension and can help us resolve those issues. So we always want to start with that, because if we try to work with, I don't know, setting goals or manifesting our biggest dreams, but we don't know how to deal with the little things that may come up in the process, which that's what Neurographica does sometimes. You know, it brings up all the patterns from our inside. So we want to know how to work with that. You know, if I make a drawing and then I feel like, oh, super tense inside, then I want to have the practice. I want to know what to do with it and how to resolve that for myself. And also, of course, when we work with a drawing, it can bring deeper insights. It can bring up it can open up more of the story. So this to begin with. That's why in the beginning we say, yes, we round every single corner, and we do that a lot. We do that until we can't see it anymore. And then when we work with more advanced topics, more advanced courses, when we go into creating in different ways, then there comes a moment where you don't have to round everything anymore. Now, we still want to always round some, because rounding not only has this effect of kind of calming us, but it's also a way of connecting everything together. And I always kind of like to use the image of a river from the like Google Maps or like Google Earth pictures. Where you can see a river system. When a small stream grows into a river, it will always be soft. So when we create connections between the things, we want to have this imagery and the kind of feeling that everything is connected. This is what the rounding does as well. And I feel that that is a really, really important part of it as well. So we definitely want to have an image where we can feel this things kind of moving into each other. We can feel the softness, we can feel the connection between the things. And then we can relieve some corners. And why would we do that? Haha, that's an interesting one. So sometimes corners, little pokey edges, can actually propel us into action. They can support us when we want to not only relax and not only kind of calm ourselves down and kind of sit with it and be meditative and all of that, but when we actually want to do something, when we want to make more money, change our job, change something about our lives. So if I want to create change from the inside out, I can do that with the drawing in a way that helps me see, and not just see, but actually go into action. Because what we ultimately want is that the drawing kind of translates into my life and helps me move in my life in a different way. And of course, like with the softening, with the rounding, this is going to have an effect in my life. You know, if I, for example, work on my relationships and I soften everything, then I may be able to approach my relationships in a different way. But if I work on, for example, changing my job, and it requires me to be with a little bit of tension because there are moments where it just is uncomfortable, then the drawing can actually help me kind of sit with that tension. Now, one thing that is really important in that is self-responsibility. Very, very important thing in Neurographica. You want to make sure that you act responsibly to yourself. You are responsible for your inner effects. So if you feel triggered by your own drawing, then round some more. Rounding always helps. I always tell that to my students. If you feel residue tension after drawing, you're like, I don't know, like, you know, it doesn't feel good, then sit down and round some more. So this was kind of the hopefully meaningful answer, where yes, we want to round in every drawing, but we don't always have to round every single corner. And if you see drawings, for example, from Pavel Fiskayov, who's the founder of Neurographica, you will see that he does not always round everything. So there you have it. It is your responsibility to see how much tension in your drawing you can deal with in a way that, where you kind of feel in this moment of, okay, how much do I need to push me forward, or how much do I need to still feel comfortable and not feel stressed about that, because obviously we don't want the drawing to stress us. So I hope that that makes sense. I would love to hear how this resonates with you and how you experience rounding in the corner and rounding the corners in the pictures. So does that calm you down? Sometimes I have felt that it actually stresses me out because there's so many corners, especially in the beginning. But in general, I'm going to say for me, it's a meditative and beautiful process. So I hope that this resonates, and I will see you soon with another question.